Alrighty, so let's get into this reviewing The Bride, directed and written by Maggie Gyllenhaal. I always keep forgetting how to say her name. Um, yeah, saw us today. It is the 12th of March. It came out on the 6th, and it's already getting taken off theaters in the next 2 weeks or so, which I don't like to ever look at reviews or anything of movies before I go see them anymore because I like to, you know, have a very fresh take on a movie and not have it be influenced by anything, you know, like, oh, if everyone else hated it and maybe I like it, maybe I feel like, oh, well, actually, yeah, that wasn't very good. I like to have a more fresh take on movies when I go see them. But when I got tickets today for my mom and I to go see it, I saw that it had like four more showings left, and it's been out for a week. So I was like, oh, that was like a sign that I didn't know I was gonna see. That I'm like, okay, this movie may be a little controversial, and yeah, it definitely is. So I when I first saw the trailer, it was very stylish, you know, and I'm a horror guy, so it's Frankenstein. So I was like, okay, pretty cool. Christian Bale, I love Christian Bale, so I was like, okay, you know what? Kind of a new take on the Bride of Frankenstein. It's got Christian Bale in it. It looks very, very stylistic and different, but I was like, all right, let's do this. The only thing I always kept feeling a little bit off about was its actual style, because it looked very modernized of like olden times. It's like if you modernize like the Great Gatsby, like I felt like, the tagline of "Here comes the motherfucking bride." Not gonna lie, that always it was a very edgy tagline to have, and it's no one's gonna be talking about the tagline of the movie, but I'm not gonna lie, the tagline of the movie, the "Here comes a motherfucking bride," and then like the bride's even like little you know like ink stain on her face, like from her plasma whatever. It was funny because I'm like I looked at that kind of stuff and I was like, it feels so try hard, it just felt so off. So I was already kind of going like, maybe I won't love it, but it looks interesting enough, and just yeah, I'm in the middle. When I the very first raw reactions I had was very negative, but I guess now this is where I've seen a little bit of reviews. I guess before my review, so caught me. I did look at some stuff. So I was just very curious about everyone's mindset about this movie. I talked to my mom about it for a long time, and I just the thing I first said when I first saw it was I'm like, it has a lot of good ideas, but the execution is just not there. And I feel like there's very bad focus the entirety of the movie, where it had this very unique idea where, yeah, it's very bold, right? Because the idea is that Mary Shelley, the person that wrote Frankenstein, like she's an actual character in the movie. Like it's so weird. It's like a fourth wall breaking kind of character where like she wrote Frankenstein, right? But she's a character that's not in the world that has Frankenstein in it, but the bride is. And Mary Shelley in the beginning is talking to the audience saying that I want to make the story that I've always wanted to make, that I wasn't allowed to make because I was a woman, you know? And I'm going to make that story through the bride. So she possesses Ida, or Jesse Buckley's character, the bride. She possesses her, and then she gets killed, and then she revives, and now Ida has her brain, but also Mary Shelley's brain in the same body, and it's just so weird because Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein. Frankenstein is a fictional character that's in the real world, but Mary Shelley is like she's interjecting herself into her own story, I guess. So we're just kind of to believe that Mary Shelley is like talking to her characters, and she's also like just putting her brain or her thoughts into this character and puppeteering them a little bit. It's just it's very unique. I've never heard of that before. a very unique take, but I'm still just like, it's so hard to ingest in like the time that it's telling you what's happening. Like, it's easier to understand after you've watched it and you've really been like, okay, yeah, that's what that was about. When I was watching it, I was like, what? And I was like, what's going on? It was such a, you were asking such a huge leap from your audience that's mostly probably casual to say, yeah, this is what like. It is so confusing, even for someone that I love movies, and so I feel like I watch a lot more than most people do on a daily. And even I'm over here like, what's going on? What, she's the author, but she's in the story, but she's not. Anyways, so already a very unique but very weird story plot line, right? So it's just the bride gets revived by Frankenstein and a mad scientist, and they go off on a little Bonnie and Clyde stuff, while they're being tracked by detectives and everything. And the actual plot line is very simple, right? She finds herself more because she doesn't have her memories, but she's dealing with like being herself and not herself. She doesn't know who she is, and so she's trying to find herself and everything. But and it's funny because everyone keeps saying Jessie Buckley, right? Oh wow, I stayed for her. Oh wow, her acting was amazing. And I'm saying right here she can act, right? She is an amazing actress, but the direction she had for this movie, I could not actually stand. Like, everyone's like saying how great it was to like see her transform, like from talking like Mary Shelley, where she's going like, "Oh, look at me! Oh, I'm Mary Shelley," and then she transfers back into I going, "Hi, what's going on here? I'm Mary Shelley. I'm gonna fucking kill you. Oh, yeah, actually, I don't think I should be feeling like, oh no, you fucking bitch." And, like she goes back and forth, and it's like, some people I guess might like the chaoticness of the character. That's her pull. But I'm sitting here right now and I'm just trying to be like, yeah, no, it was exhausting to watch her, in my opinion. I could not. It was the first time in a long time where I've watched a movie and I have felt exhausted because I was like trying so hard to understand, but she was just so loud and in your face, and it was just the loud music. Everything was just constantly just smacking you in the head, like just bam, bam, bam. Here comes a motherfucking bride, bitch. Just like very loud, very just in your face. And I think maybe I was not in the best mindset to be watching something that aggressive, but yeah, I don't know. It's funny how some people like say, yeah, she was great. I found one person online that said they did not like her. That was very annoying. And I agree full-heartedly. It's not her, the actress, that's doing bad. It's mostly just her direction. Maggie Gyllenhaal, whatever, directed her and saying, you just go fucking crazy. Like, yeah, it's impressive, I guess, to change your accent, like, in 2 seconds of each other, but, like, watching that, is just very annoying. Because I can't understand a word she's fucking saying. She's like, hopscotch, pitchcotch, fucking duck, I'm a duck in the pond, and like, oh, yes, and, I feel very sick. Oh, yes, sick, prick, fick stick, fiddlesticks. I love fiddlesticks. Oh, yes, fiddlesticks. I just like shit like that, where it's like, what? Like, what? It's like, yeah, I get there's like two people inside of your brain, and the whole thing is that you're going back and forth, and like, you don't know who you are, right? Because she has amnesia when she wakes up. So I get it. You don't know who you are. But I'm just like, it is just so annoying to watch. And then, no one talks about this, but I'm going to say it, because I noticed it, and I hate characters like this, where you make a character that creates conflict in order for the story to move on. Like, for example, like in Lightyear, with like his little crew that he has, and, they make mistakes, and those mistakes invite the conflict to happen for the story to move on. But the conflict wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for their bad and dumb mistake. And I hate characters like that. Like, I get it. There are people like that in the real world, right? Where whatever they do creates conflict. And I'm not saying that every single scene that has shit like that is bad. But when it keeps happening over and over again by the same character, for them being, like, just causing conflict, it's so annoying to me. Because I'm supposed to be, like, following and liking this character, and yet because you fucking screamed out loud, now everyone's getting shot. It's like, thanks. It's like, I don't want to see someone like that I'm following like that. Maybe make a side character like that? I don't know. Even then, like, Lightyear, I guess, but they're the main characters. Anyways, because there's like a scene in here a scene or two where whatever the bride does, like shooting a gun in the air, or they're trying to hide, and then her Mary Shelley part takes over, and she goes like, "Quiet." Oh, say, can you see? But and like she just starts screaming, and they get found out. And like, yeah, it doesn't lead to anything. Like the scene I'm talking about, her and Frankenstein are in a train, and they're trying to hide from the police. Then she's quiet, and then she begins to sing, and a policeman hops onto the train. They kill him, but like, he's gone, so I guess they're okay. But it's like her doing that just caused shit to happen, and I hate that. It's a me thing. I do not like characters that do that. I find them annoying, and they're just in the way, and I'm just like, if you weren't here, then we wouldn't be dealing with this right now, I hate characters like that, and then she did that at least 3 times in the movie, where, like, she causes a scene, and then Frankenstein has to fucking run away with her, and I'm just like, bro, that poor fucking guy, leave him alone. Like, it's just like, oh, yeah. So, it has a lot of messages in it. The biggest one is female empowerment, which is great, and it's fine. But, I'm getting kind of tired of, like, the only female empowerment thing is just to make men rapists. And, yeah, I get it, Men are rapists, I get it, Like, I'm very aware that if you're a girl and you take an Uber ride, some guy can fuck you in your ass. Like, I get it, It's like, I'm sorry. And I'm not trying to be sarcastic like that. I think it's just annoying when every single time we talk about empowering women, we have to just remind everyone how horrible men are and be like, look what women have to deal with. Like, yeah, I know. I'm a man, so I guess it doesn't really make any sense coming from me. Like, it's going to have no weight to it. I'm just saying, like, I would like to see women empowerment and have a different kind of message about it. I guess maybe, we're just not saying it loud enough to where, everyone needs to keep hearing it. Because, we can call men rapists as long as we want, and they're still going to rape women. So it's not going to make a difference. Like, this movie's taking place in the 1930s, and, we're still raping women and killing black people, so I'm like, I don't really think making the movies over and over again about the same topic in the same vein is going to really change anything. So I'm just like, because in the entire movie, right, she gets raped, and I'm like, the first time I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. She's, doesn't know who she is. She's very, like, trying to get used to her body, and she's at a club, and, but I'm just like, it's just every single time, it's just, I don't know, I want some more variety. I'm just getting very tired of this same script in, like, every single fucking movie about women empowerment. It's just like, yeah, I know, men are pigs. It's not a big surprise. Women are horrible too. Men are horrible. I mean, yeah, men are horrible in that sexual, corner of the categories, but I'm just like, can we just stop? I mean, maybe not just stop, but just do something different. Like, this movie is so unique, I guess, right? And its execution of everything. Like, how about you just maybe make it different, right? Because in some weird way, it's like, I was thinking about this while I was, like, thinking about the review, and, like, Ida, right, who's the girl, like, she's the one being possessed by Mary Shelley. She becomes the bride, and then, the entire movie, she is not herself, right? She doesn't know who she is, and so I was kind of like, because at the very end, right, when when her and Frankenstein get caught, and Frankenstein, spoilers, gets shot, she takes him back to the mad scientist that brought her to life, and she's kind of giving a little bit of, like, a monologue. And not gonna lie, there's a phrase in there that I felt like was a really powerful line that I felt like came from the heart, where, she's being distraught. She's like, please help Frankenstein, please bring him back to life. And then that scientist is like, no, I can't do that. She's like, you fucking gonna bring him back to life? And then she's kind of going crazy, and she finally goes like, she's like, I want so much, and it's terrifying, And I was like, wow. I'm like, that's a good line. Like, I felt that. Like, when you want so much in life and you just can't have it, like the rage and the raw emotion you have when you want something so badly and you cannot have it, and it's not out of selfishness, it's out of necessity to live, and you want it, and it's terrifying because of how many questions it opens up into you, and the reality that shows, like, your want reminds you of where you actually are in life. And it's disgusting and it's horrifying. And, like, wow, that's a huge, great line. I want it so much and it's terrifying. But like, you know, like there's nothing in the movie about that. It was more of her just trying to find out who she is. Like her want, like what was her want? I guess to be free, I guess? And that's where I meant by like, I guess when she's like, help! Like there's a tagline in the movie where like in the trailer where she's just screaming, help! And I was hearing that and I was like, wait, honestly, the entire movie, she's being controlled by men and women. Because Mary Shelley's like, I want to make my own story, so I'm going to control this character and make her do whatever I want and fucking drive her insane. And she can't be her own person. I was kind of like, oh, wow. So, like, in some ways, like, that's why she's a monster. Like, Ida, the bride. Because she is literally a black hole of nothing. Because she is just filled with lies from men. Lies from Frankenstein. Because Frankenstein, and the mad scientist, like, told her, like, when she woke up, they're like, oh, yeah, you're his bride. You were just in an accident and we saved you. Not the truth, right? So she's been like her entire being when she wakes up is full of lies. Her words are not her own, which is why she's fucking crazy. So yeah, I guess it's like a story in that, right? And that's interesting, but I'm just like, I was just so exhausted watching her speak, listening to her speak. I'm just like, it was so annoying. I like how my whole 60-minute review is just talking about how much I find her character annoying. Even if, like, the idea is great, right? About her not really being herself and finding herself in the end. I even talked about Christian Bale as Frankenstein. Like, I thought he was amazing, right? I think his very meek demeanor, very, like, innocent want for love and loneliness was so well realized in his performance. I think that his love of movies, was really also kind of unique. I like that. Just, again, the thing that he latched onto to fill that void in his heart of what he wanted to do. Like, I understand that loneliness and that void, And that was showed great on screen. And then when he finally meets his idol that he's been, like, he idolizes this actor on screen, right? When he finally meets him in person and the guy was like, yeah, fuck you, you're weird. It breaks his heart, And it turns him more into a monster. And, like, so yeah, it just, that stuff was great. Frankenstein and Ida were great together, like the bride and everything. Like their whole, back and forth was great to watch. I just, everyone in every review talks about like there's just so many plot lines in the movie that just go nowhere. Like there's fucking detectives. That is like literally some of the worst side plots I've seen in so long. It was just so boring and so on the nose. Like the detectives is a girl and a guy. The guy gets credit for everything and she doesn't because she's a girl. And in the end, she learns to stand up for herself to get more credit for her work. And it's just like, it's like so on the nose. Like, I get it. Yes, my mom has the same exact thing at work where she does so much work. And because she's a woman, she doesn't get recognized for that. But, I would like to see something that actually takes that real life experience of women being mistreated in the workplace and actually making it feel real and raw and actually impactful. Instead of every fucking single time we see this being so deflated and void of life and meaning, and just so repetitive to where all it does is make rapists and misogynists more upset, and all it does is just kind of give you a little whoopee from a girl in the back or a feminist guy in the back. That's all it does. And I am just so tired of it because you don't say anything, Also, hold on a second. Sorry, my girlfriend's calling me. I'll call her back in a second. This is for her. She's been watching this too. But I am just so tired of like seeing these big important messages that we need to talk about women, about minorities, people that like they have lives. These things do happen to people. Like black people are shot and killed because they're black. Minorities are killed because they're minorities. Women are raped and they're attacked at work. They are not treated fairly. And it's important. And all we keep doing, though, is making it look so repetitive and boring on screen to where everyone watches it and go like, yeah, see, it's a fucking woke thing again. It's like, I'm like, oh my God. Like even like gay, like LGBT stuff too. I just want, and it's not gonna happen because it's Hollywood. But it's like we need to these things that need to be said cannot be said in the right way to where it makes sense and everyone can understand it. I think that's why I'm more mad about it, because this movie's trying to talk about that, and it's not. It just kind of like says some stuff, and then just completely just kind of lets it go. Like, we can't really delve into that because it doesn't know what it wants to be. In all honesty, I think she did want to make a more female empowered movie about Frankenstein and the Bride, right? Which is fine. It's a reinvention of it. It's a modern take on it. It'd be great. Again, very unique with the Mary Shelley thing, but just like having also little thing, spoiler again, the detective knows Ida, the bride, because when she is killed, she's investigating a whole mob boss thing. She's like a double agent, and that's why she's killed, because she's found out. Kind of, I guess. I don't know. It's so dumb. It's like, why didn't you just make her a regular person? Like, why did you have to have like a double agent for an agent? What the fuck? It was so dumb. That's probably the most dumb thing in the movie. Everything else, like, bearable. Again, it looks great. The performances are good, even though I hate how she acts in the movie. She is still a great actress, right? Like, the deliveries are still great. It's just I don't like her character, you know? Or more so, I don't like how she's directed about, you're gonna be insane, so act insane, you know? So, yeah. Anyways, that's kind of all I have to say about it. It's, I'm glad I saw it. I do want to see it again, because I'm just wondering if maybe just there was a point in the movie where I was just very fed up with it, and I think that affected how I felt about the rest of the movie. And I'm wondering if I watch it again without this much of a exhaustion feeling, maybe I'll like it. I want to give movies a chance, but I will admit, this is the first movie in a long time where I was exhausted, and I did not want to watch it anymore. I did not want to see where it was going. I really did not want to see it anymore. And I don't like that, because I love movies, and it was just so hard because it felt so messy. And I'm like, maybe I just wasn't in a good mindset for it. I don't know. I'll give it that. Because I know it was trying to say things, and it was trying to be very inventive. Again, with Frankenstein, and everything about talking about loneliness, about what you'll do when you're lonely, I guess, and like the lies you'll say, and her being affected by that, and being used by a man, and like being lied to all her life, like she really is not her own person. Even Mary Shelley controlling her, every word she says, and that's why in the very ending she doesn't have the weird split personality anymore. It's like kind of she's more free now. It's like there's a lot to unpack, which is why I think it will be a cult classic at some point. But other than that, though, I was very exhausted by watching it, and I would not, it's just watch it on streaming, I guess. I hate saying that too. I actually have not been exhausted for a long time watching a movie. Not even Psycho Killer made me exhausted. This one made me exhausted. I did not want to watch it anymore, and that's bad. That's just me, though. I don't know. Anyways, yep. That's it. I'm good. You're good. Bye-bye.